A couple days ago was RAD Day, and I got a text from my brother asking me if I wanted to see it, and he had all my other brothers attached to it, and we all said yes, and then we were going to bring our kids, and then my sister wanted to come, she brought her kids, and then my dad came, and so we had the entire row in the theater watching a classic from my youth, RAD.
His name is Crew.
Ain't good looking.
BMX is his world. RAD is his way of life.
I noticed a bunch of things in the background that I had never noticed, and I noticed things that I had forgotten about, and so I wanted to go over all of them. The first one, I don't know how I forgot about this. There is a pink elephant sprinkler wearing a cowboy hat with the word howdy around the base of it in the front lawn of this one house. Now, it is mentioned in the film, he purposely rides through it, but I never really grasped how weird this was that they have what looks like a carnival ride on their lawn, and it's spraying water in a very small little circle. Now, this was really in that front yard in real life, but it's not there anymore. They moved it to a place called Crossroads Market. And if you look at him, that's how he looks today. You can see from his nose that he used to have that fountain. He lost his cowboy hat. He's still pink, but he kind of just blends into the background. He's right in front of the store. So if you're in that area of Canada, you can go over and check that out. So before the movie, they had this trivia that they ran on the screen. And I found out later that they seemed to take the IMDb trivia and then also some website that was like RAD Trivia, and they kind of just took those, put those up on the screen. One of the trivia questions was, what is the original title for RAD? And they said it was Balls Out, which is so weird. It is said once towards the end of the film, but my goodness, that is the least RAD title I have ever heard.
Just pretend you're in a lumberyard. Go balls out.
They also mentioned that the suits that the Reynolds twins were wearing were from the miniseries V. Now, I don't know if this is true. I looked at those outfits. They definitely are similar to it. But they don't match anything I can find online. I never saw V. I remember when that was coming out, the trailers and commercials for it scared me to death as a kid. I really enjoyed the interplay with the Reynolds twins. I actually remember as a kid, I thought that these two would have been perfect for a G.I. Joe movie.
Da-da-da-dee-da-da. It's mine, you know. Totally mine.
The ball is still in play. Our satellite is about to have visitors.
I remember thinking this as a kid, and watching it now, I was like, oh my God, they just missed it by a few years. They were actually twin brothers, Chad and Carrie Hayes. And what's interesting is they went on to be extremely successful writers. They wrote for Baywatch Nights and Diagnosis Murder, and then they ended up writing The Conjuring. They also wrote House of Wax.
So how is it writing horror films?
Scary.
Scary?
During the bicycle boogie scene, they play Send Me an Angel. Now, this song had come out in 1983 and had charted at number 29 on the Billboard chart. It was then re-released in '89 and it charted at 26. I remember hearing it in '89 thinking, this is an old song. I heard this 3 years ago in the background of a movie that nobody but me and my brothers ever saw. I like this sign in the background, the Welcome to Hell track. Kid can't spell. This kid had a Bart Taylor t-shirt, which I had never noticed before.
Dude, Bart Taylor!
And I just love when Wesley, Crew's younger sister, starts doing these Daniel Bryan kicks to this ginger kid. During the newspaper scene, you see this bicycle out in front of the 7-Eleven. And then later, there would have been a scene in the film that explains why he's riding that bike.
If you want to thank us, ride this.
That's the Murray from your store.
Here he says that the whole town is excited for him. They want him to have this bike. I like that this is such a weird town where newspapers are delivered apparently daily to two guys on a boat, a guy in a garbage truck, the firemen on their way to a fire apparently every day. The alarm is pulled and these guys race by and grab that paper. In the background of this shot, you can see a trash can, and on it was painted Big Bird. It was definitely not like a professionally done Big Bird, but it was super cool to see. I didn't see this until it was blown up that big. And then in the scene where Duke Best gets crew in the car and he apparently tells them to throw the race, to come race for him, but throw the race. In the background, we can see this Miss Pac-Man themed trash can. At one point in the background, you would see a sign very prominently placed for Lucky Penny Pizza. Here's a pretty cool story. After about 25 years of being closed, they came back and reopened for a while.
Hold it. We're not done yet.
On the wall, they had a poster that you could sign if you were in the movie, even if you were just an extra. So all of the locals would sign it. They posted this on their Instagram page. It's their mayor, and then I don't know who the other two people are. One of them sort of looks like Ed Helms. Hard to tell with this covered up, but Ed Helms did a Q&A after the movie I saw in the theater.
Would you like to be my friend?
One of the things that I was initially disappointed about in this theatrical experience, they were totally silent. And I'm like, you guys didn't think this stuff was funny? I thought it was funny then. And then towards the end, there's the line where she goes,
I thought you were a man.
And the crowd went, woo! And from then on, they cheered and they laughed but it was weird. It was like this ice had to be, somebody had to break the ice. Once everybody started acting like a group of people that were seeing their favorite movie that they've seen 100 times, it got so much more fun to watch. By the way, the ice cream shop where that scene was filmed is still open today. As I was watching the film, my son leaned over to me and said, why is he dressed like Shrek?
Qualifying for Hell Track.
Okay, that's it.
I'm gonna croak in here.
You're gonna croak in there if you don't shut up.
Speaking of people that look like other people, so this woman came up on the screen, and obviously we're all distracted by something else, but when she walked away, I noticed that she looked like someone. I have always noticed that during the closing credits, a couple titles are kind of blacked out and censored. And it turns out it had to do with trainees that were working with the writing staff. The Writers Guild wouldn't allow those titles to appear on screen, so they censored it at the last minute.
They say this guy Bart Taylor's gonna walk Hell Track.
One of the best things about RAD is the music, and the song Caught Up in the Crossfire by the Charm Kings is really catchy in the movie. It also appeared in the movie Night of the Creeps. Unfortunately, the band lost the rest of the recording, so all that exists is the portions that you can hear in the background of these movies.
You can't have a BMX World Championships without the legendary Hollywood Mike Miranda. Mike, welcome back. Now, very briefly then, give us a potted history of BMX biking.
About the end of the 70s, it was really a money-making business. And then with the movie E.T., that brought a big boom in our sport. You know, a lot of people saw BMX for the first time through that movie.
There is a weird blooper, and I noticed this as a kid, and it still stands out to this day. I'm stunned that they haven't cut it, but you see Crew's buddies react to him falling well before he falls. The cop was played by Hard-Boiled Haggerty. This was a very famous pro wrestler.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler!
He had won titles in the AWA and the NWA. He also fought the Incredible Hulk. And in the Muppet movie, he spun Kermit the Frog around like this. I love the 80s. I know you do, or you wouldn't be here. I was recently reading about Clara Peller, the Where's the Beef lady. I compiled everything I could about this wonderful lady's career. I put it right up here. Otherwise, YouTube says this is what is best for you, and I'll see you next time.